Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Michael. Hello, folks. Here we are with Stout Sunday. I know I'm running late, but it was more or less out of my hands to a large extent. So I knew people were going to be asking, but I couldn't do much about it. So here I am in Louisiana Stout Reviews. Michael Komaroff, he is the Stout King, and he is in Brooklyn, New York City, New York. Jean-Pierre, the Beverage Ramble, is in Georgia. And like I said, I was at the college football games, and then I got home so late, and then so woke up hours later than normal, and so I put everything back, and it just.
How you doing, Mike?
Hey, John. Good to see you. It's been a while since I've been on.
Sir. Yes, sir. How was the game, Mr. T?
Terrible.
Everything is going well. It's great to be back.
Good to see you, Michael. I know you've been out having the leisure activities on Sunday, and some of which involved beer, but much of it involving the Atlantic beach coastline. All right.
Yeah, in the Rockaways. Hey, Robert.
Hey. Robert, what's up, man?
Now we have Robert joining us from Kansas. So there's the link for people that want to join. I always put the link. Some people will say, how can I join? It's like, there's the way you can join. Okay. Craig Swenson, good day to you, Craig. So, yeah, about 11 minutes late, but 10 minutes late, but like I said, it was out of my hands. And the game was terrible. So,
but you had a good time. The main thing, you had a good time, right? So,
not really, but okay. Michael, I didn't really actually but anyway, that's just the way it goes. Okay. I have a beer, and we're gonna try to cool it so we can bring in information. So I'm going to show y'all what I have, and we'll go around, and anybody wants to join, we'll let them join. And so I didn't have a terrible time either, but it could have been a lot better. All right, so here is Pontoon's Tall, Dark, and Smoky, and I know John and Illy did a solo review of it, which I've
seen this. I've seen this in my town.
I'm going to watch his review. Their labels are kind of.
It is colorful. It's colorful. It's kind of wacky, but interesting.
Kind of amateurish, but no big deal. It's what's inside, but it's just that it doesn't really make you say, "Oh, I would really love to buy this beer." It's kind of like I'll overlook that. Okay, so I poured it. We did a duo review, and the results were poor. But I'm open-minded. Like I try to give things a second chance, third, fourth chance. Unless it's camo beers, one chance was, I think, good enough. All right. It's dark. There's a little red as the light hits it here. The head is thin and cream colored. It's 7.5%. There's no IBUs that I could find. Don't believe. And I could double check that, but they're low. I can assure you they're very low. So we'll put that in the banners right now and try to play catch up here. So, let's see, tall, dark, and smoky. Smoked porter at 7.5. And I'll save that, and then I'll just keep updating the banner. Now, Michael is going to give us his product.
Mine is a revisit of Trader Joe's Stockyard Oatmeal Stout at 5.2%.
That's going to be like Guinness and Stockyard is going to be like our two biggest revisit beers, I think.
Let's see if you can watch this. I've been noticing that as far as the Trader Joe's store, that the amount of Trader Joe's they're handling at my two stores has really diminished, and it's almost like they've decided there's more profit in going the whole craft beer gamut. They have some of their own stuff, but it's not featured anymore. And maybe
I've noticed that too. I've noticed that too.
This may be a whole store-wide thing, or maybe they've just decided that their beers don't sell as well as they want. So they still stock them, but not in the type of numbers that they used to. And they do have some good products. So in some ways, it's a shame to lose that end of the business. But it's just sometimes the way I guess these beer things go. So we'll have to watch and see if that's a concept that's set up or it's going to change. But I'll give a full review when you come back around.
Okay.
All right, guys. How are y'all this morning? I am drinking from Highland Brewery, the Black Mocha Stout. This is 5.5%. Excuse me, take that back. This is 5%. 5% ABV. Have it here in my glass. I did review this 6 years ago, and I was going to do a rehash, but I'm kind of bypassed that now. So since I've already opened it, but anyway, this is what I have. And I'll come back and give my assumptions, my thoughts while I sip this.
All right, just hold on just a moment. Give me a moment.
Swisher Sweets.
Oh,
yay.
Healthy for your lungs. Okay.
Pairs well with the stout.
All right. I have the brewery Sticky Manners. Sticky Manners. I can't even talk this morning. Flapjack Stout, 9.3% ABV. It is a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout with bananas, cocoa nibs, maple syrup, and natural maple flavor. So this ought to be interesting. We shall see. I not think I've ever. I know I've had the maple syrup. Was it the one that's done in maple syrup barrels from Founders Reserve? And I liked it, but I don't remember much else about it. It pours very black. It has a very fast dissipating head that is just chocolate in color. And the head is almost completely gone. So we shall see how this goes, guys.
Okay, I'm going to update the comments. Then I'm going to jump over to myself because when I'm doing the review, it's hard to keep up with comments. You know, it's sort of impossible, really. Johnny Boy, right. Once the McRib is back, you know it. You got it, JV. Now, if Jeremy comes on here and sees that kind of smart mouth talking, he probably wouldn't be too happy about it. I'm talking about Jeremy Vincent, JV's Hangout's arch enemy. Those guys, you know, it's sad because it's sad that they don't get along. I try to bring them together, but what do you think? What do you think, JV's Hangouts? You think you and Jeremy could get along? You and Jeremy Vincent could ever get along again? Your team played a real team and lost. My team played a high school team and got stomped. Okay. It will be better,
It's
Nina.
true. It's true. They lost to Tulane and come back and whooped us.
I was watching it when I got home from the misery I was attending, and then I said, "Look at this here."
Kansas State. Yep.
Jeremy's laughing. I mean, JV's laughing. Well, you know, we want peace, JV. We want peace in the beer world, not animosity. Okay, so we'll work on that, bringing Jeremy Vincent together with JV's Hangouts. They can live across the river from each other in Arkansas and
Arkansas. Yes.
Yeah, and I hope they don't meet at the bridge and, you know, there's a big fight or something, you know. I believe it was Jeremy who said, "Let's go." But anyway, now, and it was something to do with accountants or something. I don't. It's so, you know, it goes back. So, all right, now, here I am. I don't know what's going to happen with this outfit here. Okay, everybody. I bought this. It was $3.99 for the can. Okay, so I consider $3.99 a can at A price, and I don't like it when I pay an A price and get a B beer, but that's not that unusual. Okay, now of course when I pay a B price and get an A beer, that's a benefit. Hey, okay, so the aroma. Microsoft. All right,
That's me.
the aroma. See, in your mind, you're thinking smoke porter. Oh, I am so down for the smoke. Yeah, well, you better get down for the lack of it, because it's just a little rush of smoke and then it fades like whoop. And then what you mainly getting in the nose is just some kind of washed out malt. Now, I could call Greg and get him on here because there's no date on the can. I don't know how old the beer is. And I'm not going to start that rant. But it is irritating. I'm going to say I agree with the whole idea of getting aggravated about it, because there must be some great difficulty in stamping a date on a can. It's just got to be the hardest thing in the world. So I assume it's pretty fresh because it just showed up at Mathern's about a month ago. It's not like it's been on the shelf for 6 months. But still, if you want me to join the craft beer movement, you gotta do things a little bit better.
Got to put the date.
Yeah, you gotta do things a little bit better. Okay. Taste. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jay.
There's a shadow of smoke. Now I'm telling y'all, when I cracked this open a little while ago and did my solo review, I was like, smoke. Next sip, a little smoke. Third sip, some smoke. Now it's like, where's the smoke? Where's the smoke? Which is not a good thing. There's sourness now. There's sourness. Not like a sour beer that people drink and say it tastes sour, but it really tastes sour. I'm saying sour like sour milk, sour grain, what I call sour, not tarts like sweet tarts. Okay. Or warheads or something like that. To me, those are two different flavors, sour and tart. That's another rant. All right. Body's thin, expected. It's a porter. The finish is mostly dry. So you get some little hints of smoke, but it's so low. It's tall, dark, and smoky. Phillips Barbecue Company that's the people. Phillips Barbecue is the one that smoked the doggone malts. To me, it's more like thin, dark, and dull. They ought to call it thin, dark, and dull. Does it have a bad flavor? Certainly not. In fact, it has a good flavor. I like it. I enjoy drinking it. But there's a lot of things to talk about with this beer. Never let that happen again for the rest of your life. All right.
I've missed this. I've missed this action. I'm sorry. I'm getting a kick out of it. What I was going to ask, and I put this up, how come Robert's score is already 93 out of 100? Did he pre-do the beer and send it ahead to you, or is that an error?
It's an error. It's supposed to be 9.3 out of 9.3%. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Maybe
okay. That's fine.
I didn't get it. Maybe I didn't sleep as well as I had. I did. I thought I slept good.
That's fine. I'm not picking on you for your mistake.
No, but I appreciate you pointing it out. I appreciate you pointing it out. I guess I'm ready
to go. Anyway, this is one of the Trader Joe's beers, and I think it's a Joseph Brow beer made in San Jose, California.
By Gordon Biersch.
Gordon Biersch, best consumed by 11/19, which is my mother's birthday. but she's gone. Anyway, 2022, and you can see I've been sipping on it. The head has now declined to a thin tan head and decent lacing on the side of the glass, and I don't know, you can see the carbonation coming up, so it's got some good carbonation in it as well. Very dark brown, bordering on black. If you look up through the light, you can see through the corners, but you can't see through the base of the beer. Let me get a nose on it. You get the roasted malts in the nose. Let's see. Not really a lot of, I'm not getting any coffee in it. Maybe some mild chocolate notes as well. But more of roasted malt, I think, than anything else, with kind of like a chocolate background. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
It's an Irish stout, oatmeal stout. It doesn't have any lactose in it, as some of the oatmeal stouts that we do brew in the United States. But it does have a little bit of a creamy kind of feel to it anyway. Goes down pretty easy. It's only 5.2%, so it's sessionable, and you get substantial taste in this for what it is. Again, you're getting the roasted malt and the taste. You're getting a little bit of that chocolate. It's more of a baker's kind of chocolate, not sweet, but pretty strong tasting chocolate in the flavor as well. I'd say it has the bottom end of medium mouthfeel, because it's not low. It's not a low end mouthfeel. It's a little bit more, but it's still not. It's not a heavy beer at all, and it does go
low medium,
low medium, and you could drink quite a few of these because of the alcohol level, and it wouldn't fill you up as quick as some of the other oatmeal stouts I've had before, unless the ones with lactose also do go down pretty easy, just like this is going down.
That one ranks very high with a lot of beer drinkers. They really enjoy that one.
It's a good oatmeal stout, and it just proves that some of the not major beer labels can brew a beer that's commensurate with the style, and it's definitely a well-brewed Irish stout, and I'm enjoying drinking it. I will come back and give a number on it when we come back around.
Okay, and I want to let people know the reason I didn't show the Pontoon website is because there's nothing to look at. It's just some text of saying, how wonderful the beer is and how it's the malts are smoked by the barbecue company. There's really nothing.
There are a lot of websites. I'm sorry, Jay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like typed on their computer, to you in an email. It's not really a very interesting to look at. I'm not saying it's bad. The company probably doesn't have money to just be making a fancy pants website. I'm just saying it's good information showing. Now I can't show Stockyard because there is no website for it, so that's not an option. But with Highland, yes, that company's been around a long time. We have a website. I'm going to see if I can find your beer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying a lot of the sites that you mentioned, even the one that you just mentioned, like Pontoon was that when I did a review for Pontoon, the Belgian quadruple, the quad stat, it was just like mostly all text, and I couldn't really get any information. I had to look at other sites like Drizzly or
yeah. Well, I mean, you can get information if it's text, if there's anything in the text,
right.
That the text has any kind of substantial information. But now Highland's been around 28 years. They're one of the big players in the craft beer. It's kind of like a Beta or St. Arnold. You look on their websites, they're going to have a lot of information about the beer.
Yeah.
Have no fear.
Yeah.
Don't fear.
So yeah, when I reviewed it 6 years ago, and this is what I have, people. This is the Black Mocha Stout, 5%. ABV, 30 IBUs. It's won a silver at the World Beer Cup, And the Great American Beer Festival also won silver. The World Beer Cup, that was in 2006, and the Great American Beer Festival, same award, silver, that was in 2008. So here's my stout, as you can see. Just sipping on it just now. I had some water earlier, but I needed something to go with my breakfast, so I had some breakfast earlier, a little sausage and some eggs on toast. So that's what it looks like.
Want me to read the description on the website?
Sure, go ahead.
It says Highland's most robust beer achieves bold roasted chocolate and coffee notes expertly drawn from roasted barley. It is black in color with a very clean finish and moderate hop flavor. Yeah. Silver from 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And 14 years ago. It's 30 bitterness units, 5%, Chinook and Mount Hood hops. For the grist meaning the malt bill, grist. 2-row Bonlander Munich roasted barley, caramel 40, caramel 60, chocolate malt, extra special, and malted wheat. Oh, it's got wheat. And you can get it in bottles, kegs,
mostly bottles, I've seen it.
Yeah, and obviously cans, right?
Yeah.
Don't you have a can right now?
No, I have a bottle in front of me. That's my bottle.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm.
Yeah, I bought this at Total Wine, and this is my second time going to Total Wine. Not here, but it was a Total Wine. Where was I? When I was visiting my parents up in Jersey, and I went to the Total Wine up there, and I was kind of impressed with what they had. But it was real. I was just only there real briefly. Had to get something for a little get together, real quick. I didn't really get a chance to do any shopping, so this is going back 2000. This is before I started doing beer reviews. In 2015. This is going back 2010. But the Total Wine here in Brookhaven, and Michael, I think you went to that one when you were here in Georgia, right? Is that the one you went to? Brookhaven? Yes. That's the one I went to, which is right up the road from me here.
And they had a good selection.
Very amazing selection. I was very impressed with what they had, and that's where I got the Highland and because I didn't see some of the other places I go to here in town, they have good stuff, but there, it was like really good, and that's where I got that Bud the Busch Light apple, which I reviewed, and I'll more comment on that later. But anyway, back to the stout. But really nice, and as Jay you were mentioning in those notes, it definitely has that on the tongue, that chocolate and coffee. I think a good balance between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very roasted. The roasted malts are there, but a nice, good balance. Not one over the other of that chocolate and the coffee. So, this is pretty, like I said, when I had it 6 years ago, I gave a very favorable review of this, and it still lives up to living up to that same. We'll probably live up to that same score. I only tried. It was the other Highland I tried was that Gaelic something. I don't recall what that was. It was another Highland beer, but again, we didn't really get much Highland beers when I was in Mobile. It was one of those things, You want to
guess how many? You want to guess how many we get?
Zero.
Zero,
I would guess.
How'd you get it? How'd you get it?
I just don't understand Louisiana, and as diverse place it is. I mean, and the city and close to New Orleans, everything is just wow, But
John, what about the mouth? How's the mouth feel?
It's good. Like I said, a good balance of chocolate and coffee. I really enjoy it. So, and it's at 5%. Really good. Not I like Imperials a lot, but once in a while, it's okay to relax and have a nice 5%er. You don't have to go too crazy. Just chill. Just chill. RELEX. Relax. You don't have to go heavy and crazy.
Right, because then later on, an hour after you do the video, you can do the normal thing, which is to not relax, unchilled.
Yes. So
chill.
Good stout. Yeah, and I'll give my score coming up.
some non-liquid refreshment. All right.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Anyway,
Asheville, North Carolina.
I've been there. Place was full of ashes. All right.
All right.
Robert, before you start, I noticed I have this little stout thing where I have all the beers I have. I have a brewery bakery boysenberry. Have you had that one before?
I'd have to consult my notes. I think not. I think I've seen it maybe.
Okay.
I go to Kansas City. They have the best selection of them, but I don't buy every one I see. I kind of pick and choose a little bit what sounds good at the time because they're all $9.99 to $12.
They're pricey for sure.
Yes.
So you're not paying top shelf. You're paying above the top. You're paying in the locked case price.
Yeah, I'm paying for a good flavor. You got to pay for it if you want it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not taking issue with it. I'm just saying you're paying the price people pay for that when they got to unlock the case.
Yeah.
No, that's only for the scotches. No, that's all for the above average scotches. It didn't come out of no case. It was sitting on the shelf.
That's high. That's a lot of money for a can. You know.
That is. But I like their products, so I've always never bothered paying it. Anyway, back to the stout itself. On the nose, the bananas come through real good. They come through very good. You're also getting dark fruits like figs or something along that nature, of figs or dates or something. And that's coming out of what I think is probably the barrel. Usually the barrel's going to give you that kind of dark fruity flavors that come along with it as it is barrel aged. And I get the maple syrup in the background. What am I missing is more important on this. And what I'm missing is on the nose, I get no roasted malts. None. It don't surprise me that the chocolate's covered up. Maple syrup usually covers up that very well in the nose. So you won't usually notice that in the nose or the cacao nibs in this case. But the banana note is super strong in this one. I mean, super strong. And
do you want
the biggest. Go ahead.
Do you want to read the brewery's description?
That's a little small on my screen.
I can read it. It says bourbon barrel aged imperial stout with bananas, which is what you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Cacao or cocoa nibs, maple syrup. One of the best parts of childhood, weekend breakfast sweets. We think growing up is boring, so we're serving up a stack of chocolate chip banana flapjacks at the adult table. This pastry stout was treated with bananas, cocoa nibs, and natural maple syrup. Tuck your napkin in your collar and sink a fork into this sweet, gooey treat.
That smells like it's going to be a sweet, gooey treat. It smells like it's going to be probably a little bit decadent over the top. But I haven't taken a taste yet, so I can't. So here's to the first taste, guys.
Cheers, Robert.
Totally different than the nose.
Huh.
You still get the banana, but the roasted malts and the cacao nibs move to the front easily. In fact, the roasted malts start to shine through on the palate. You still get the maple syrup. The maple syrup doesn't overtly dominate. It's very, very thick mouthfeel on this one. This one is, I've never drank motor oil, but if I was to guess how motor oil consistency would be to drink, this definitely has that consistency. It's thick. It's almost not quite maple syrup thick, but you are getting somewhere between, I don't know. It's not quite as thick as maple syrup would pour or come out, but it's definitely thick. I've overemphasized that too much, but it's a very thick mouthfeel.
Is it more like Quaker State or Pennzoil?
Again, I had to say I've never drank motor oil, so I can't say.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
I'm just
that's
thinking
true.
of the consistency in my head. I've drank gasoline, not on purpose, siphoning, but it's not that either. That was a long time ago. I haven't drank gasoline in quite some time. Never made a habit of it. Anyway, yeah, that is a good thing. Let's take another taste because it's got floaties in the top of it, which I find rather neat. You're probably not going to be able to see them with the camera, but well, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit.
Cheers,
You got
part two.
Yeah, you can see little particulate matter in there, little white-ish particulate matter in there. So she got plenty of floaties in the top of it, little ones.
Cheers, part two.
Cheers again.
The cacao nibs, cocoa, chocolate flavor, that works well with the banana in this case. The maple syrup, I honestly think if you took the maple syrup out, maybe added honey or some other sweetener, you would have something more like a banana Foster's. Because you got enough of the roasted malts in there to give it sort of that, I don't know, that sort of when they flambe the bananas with the cinnamon and stuff. It's dessert like. That's the best way to put this. It is very dessert like. It's very good. In fact, I'm rather impressed because the nose is entirely dominated one way and the palate skews it another way. And that's interesting. Not a long finish. It doesn't hang around like some other ones that would be. The finish is short, goes away rather quickly, but it leaves you wanting another drink. I'll tell you that too.
Another sip.
Yep. Another sip, drink. Give me time to think on it a little bit more, guys. It'll warm up a little bit more. It's still just a little bit on the cool side. It'll warm up just a little bit more, and I bet it changes even more.
Well, now, here I am. Thanks for everybody joining and giving good descriptions. This doggone tall, dark, and smoky. It's kind of bombing out, because they're talking about cocoa nibs and vanilla and smoke from the barbecue joint. Y'all ever drink a beer that just kind of dropped off, like as you sip on it, it just goes like,
mm-hmm. And
now it's just like sour malts. It's not a bad flavor, but it's not exactly. I'm gonna mute Michael for a minute because there's a little feedback, but it's no big deal. You know how to unmute.
I'll mute it.
Nothing personal. All right. It's just kind of. And I was thinking to myself, I said, well, when we did the duo review, we had drunk a few things beforehand that I could have influenced it, I always have to take that into account. So I said, I'm going to give it a second chance, I don't want to be too hasty and everything. But I'm drinking it again, and I'm thinking, no, I think we were right. It just isn't. It isn't working, it just. I don't mind them trying something different. I like craft beer companies to try different things. That's cool. With, I'm cool with that, but I'm still going to call it as I see it. I'm not going to sit there and just say, well, let me give them a better score because I feel bad for them. And that's why I get into conflicts. Well, not the only reason, but I get into conflicts with my friend David because he'll tell me like, well, I'm giving it a better score because you peer pressuring me. I said, what are you talking about? I said, how am I peer pressuring you? Give the score that you want to give it. I say, look. And then he'll say sometimes, well, I felt bad because the company's from Louisiana and they don't really have a lot of money. I said, that cannot be considered, okay? I said, if you got to rip them, you just got to do it. You know, you don't have to like compensate and give a better. And then sometimes he'll say to me like, well, I feel like you was leaning on me to give a higher score. I'm never leaning on anybody to give a higher score. I think he's misinterpreting what I'm saying when I say stuff like, well, I don't agree with that. I think it's better. That's not leaning on somebody. I'm just saying I don't agree. I think it's better. Or conversely, I don't agree. I think it's worse. You know, either way that thing goes. So I told him I wanted him to really not do that. Don't do that. Don't let me cut the camera off and then you tell me off air, I didn't really like that beer. No, say it on air, not off air. Okay, so and then I was talking to him about starting his own channel, and he was saying he's thinking about it. So he started thinking about it. But I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen. But I don't think it will happen. But it should happen, really, but I don't know. Anyway, this thing here, I bought it twice. I paid $7.98. No big deal. I mean, you know, like people say, you're always bringing up the price. I told David yesterday, I said, you know why I always bring up the price? People always ask me, like every time, if I don't mention it in a comment, they'll say, well, what'd you pay for it? Well, to avoid just repeating that, I just bring it up because they're going to ask. People are going to ask. They want to know. People want to know, especially since they're considering buying it. You know, they would kind of like to know, you know. So, but this thing, huh?
Oh, I was thinking to myself because it just now hit me that barrel note.
Oh, okay.
I said, "Oh wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing to do with you. It's my palate."
Yes, I think sometimes people are interpreting what I'm saying like the wrong way. That like they're saying, well, you're just worrying about the price versus the payoff. It's not that. It's that I'm heading it off at the pass because I know through experience over 12 years, I can kind of know what questions are coming. So like comments I make in the video are preparatory to the questions, if you understand what I'm saying. So, you know, and then they're going to ask me, I know they're going to ask, where can I find it? Or do you think it's widely available? And I'll usually mention that because in the case of this product, it's probably not really widely available. It's Georgia, probably, you know, South Carolina, maybe a little bit of Florida and Alabama. And I had never seen it in Mississippi. I think they jumped the state. And that happens quite often, by the way. They jumped the state and went to Louisiana because Lone Star beer you can get in Texas, but you'll never see it in Louisiana. But you might see it in Alabama, which is very strange. But this beer, no, it is not a bad beer. If it was a bad beer, I'd give it a D. D means bad.
D means bad.
There you go.
D means bad. Yes, it does.
Right.
What about
somebody
B?
tells
What
you,
about C? What about P?
yeah, so it's a good beer, but with a lot of reservations. And this is the kind of beer, and I've experienced this over the years. It's the kind of beer that the more you sip on it, the lower the score goes, and which to me is not a good sign.
No.
You know, it starts off nice, and then it's like a definitely diminishing returns. And
how much did you pay for it again?
let's see, I think that's a troll question, but
you might be correct.
I'm guessing what,
But
maybe $7, because most pontoon beers I get here are about that. $7.
I know you were busy on your cell phone earlier, but I repeated like 3 times. I paid $3.99 for this can.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right, because my son and his K-State fans, it never ends. All I'm hearing is welcome to Bill Snyder South Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. I mean, my son's friends just love me on these days.
I don't really mind. I don't mind troll comments because I always play it. If you read my responses, I always respond as though I don't realize it. But even though I obviously do, I'll be like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. And it's pretty obvious that the comment is not meant to be taken. The response is not meant to be taken seriously.
So $3.99. That's good. I know.
Yeah. So does it live up to the billing? Does it live up to the billing? No. And does it justify the price? Absolutely not. But it's there. It exists. Like, so, if you want to try it and you like a beer that's largely just sour malt with a tease, like, oh, the smoke, oh, the cocoa, oh, the vanilla. But as soon as you start to enjoy this, like taken away. No, you're not going to really taste it. That was a tease. You're going to taste sour malt. Now, if you think that sounds like something you'd want to enjoy, then I say go for it. Otherwise, you can take that evaluation and use it as you see fit. Now, I'm going to give it a 82 B minus. It's there, but I don't know what to say about it. There, it's on the shelf. Okay, that's why there's so many. No, that's not why there's so many cans on the shelf, because it's just not. People don't. I don't know. I think the store is buying way too much product. I don't think you need 8 dozen cans of each brand to set on the shelf for 10 months with minimal movement. But that's, my business thinking. Like, why do you need that? Why do you need that dense of a backstock that's not going to move? I don't understand. All right. Anyway, Trader Joe's understands, though. All right, Michael.
Okay, I was going to say I've had the tall, dark, and smoky as well, so I can give you my comment. I liked it a little bit better than you did, but it was definitely just a B. So I might have given it an 85. So that's not giving it any kind of firm thing that everybody should run out and buy it. It was okay. I didn't get the real smokiness, and I didn't get any of the other things they were wanting to do. It was an average beer as they go. And I got one, John mailed it to me as part of, his Georgia beers. So it was one of the beers I got. I didn't find it excellent at all. It was just, an average beer. And if they're going to depend on putting stuff on the can that they're delivering, Pontoon's going to have trouble, because if they do it with a group of their beers, then the people drinking it are going to lose faith in them, and they could have trouble up the road. But we'll see what happens. Like I say, it's not available in New York. I can't get it. Somebody would have to send it to me, and I'm sure John could have found something better, but I think John did like it more. I think he was more of a fan of it, but you'll have to ask him directly, because I don't know what kind of score he gave it. Anyway,
well, I'm going to watch the video. My experience with Pontoon is that they live up to their billing about 50% of the time, which to me is a pretty bad average. But anyway.
Okay, getting back to my Trader Joe's beer, for what this is, and it's an American brewer doing a take on an Irish stout, it achieves what they're trying to do. It's a good representation of the style. So I am going to give it a 93. Now that's an A. That's not an A+. It's just an A, but it's solid enough that I think you should, if you have Trader Joe's stores in your area, you should go down. And one good thing about Trader Joe's, you don't have to buy a 6-pack. You can buy an individual beer there, one, just to try it. If I remember right, the price is $1.16 for each 12-ounce bottle. So unless, maybe there are markets where it's higher, but for me, for what you're getting, that's an excellent price. And like I say, you don't even have to buy 6-pack. And there are other beers there that are also good to try, different styles. What I mentioned earlier is unfortunate that in the 2 Trader Joe's stores in my area, they have now become like their own beers are kind of like a second thing. They're there, but they're not there in any kind of volume. And they seem to be representing a lot in this New England style IPA rage that's still going on pretty strongly. I do like the look of Robert's beer, though. I mean,
yes,
the head of this really looks weird.
And actually, the
nice
floaties,
little interesting head up top.
The floaties, there's more floaties on there too. They're increasing.
Yeah,
it's weird looking.
So I'm solidly into Trader Joe's, but give it a look if you get a chance to try some of their beers if you can.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert, that was very strange. What was on top of that? I don't know, man.
That's the bottom of the can. What's there right now?
Okay. As far as my stout, black mocha, it's good. I'm gonna go, ain't great, but it's good. I'm gonna go 85 out of 100. You know, B stout, B level stout. I think this is a good. They did a good on this one, but again, I want Imperials, and I'm going to do that today when I go shopping. I'm going to, after I do my walk, then I'm going to go shopping and go to local Vine, see if I can find some Imperials. And I know it's a little too early right now, even though I guess some of them will be popping out around November, next month or whatever. But hey, it's an overall decent stout. So B score 85 out of 100.
Okay. Let me update that on the banners.
I want my Imperials.
I want my MTV. All right. Let's see. And my chicks for free. All right. Anyway,
I thought that was checks for free.
No.
And your chicks for free. Dire Straits Sting.
Yeah. I'm wrong.
I think
I'm not.
Maybe chicks might be checks. That might be one
I
of
don't
the
claim to be a lyrics analyst. For some reason, I did think it was checks, not chicks. But who knows? Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. All right.
If it's rock and roll, it's chicks. All right. Anyway.
Well, they make money too, so there's checks there too.
Yes.
Okay, enough. This, I still haven't given it a score, believe it or not. I'm on the spot now, so I have to give it a score. And I've been thinking hard on this. What I just poured out was the bottom of the can in there, and now I'm getting a little bit more maple syrup than I was in the flavor profile up front. It's still good. It's one of these beers that feels like it's all over the place. It don't feel like there's really one particular direction that you're going to go, that you're going to follow that's consistent. Because a while ago when you were speaking, Ron, out of the blue, the barrel effect, that little bit of oakiness hit me.
Yeah.
In one of my flavors. And I hadn't got that prior to that. Now, as far as a large flavor profile, this one definitely has it. The short finish, though, is just not. We're not getting that. I love the transitional changes, different smell in the nose versus different effect in the palate, and I love the lots of flavors it's given me in a lot of ways. But it's not a linear. It's all over the place. That's just the best way to describe it. I think I'll give it a 96 out of 100 because it's really good. It's drinkable. What you think you're going to get as a decadent, super sticky, sweet stout up front, turns out it has enough of the roasted malts in it to kind of counterbalance a lot of that. It's still on the sweet side. Now, don't misunderstand me, but it's just not so over the top that it's disgustingly sweet. It's not there. I mean, it has enough roasted malts to keep it from being there. So I think 96 out of 100. I think if the more consistent and the flavor profile throughout every sip was more easier to follow palate-wise, I think I'd give it a higher score. But anyway, and was it worth I think I paid on this one, I think I paid $10.99 or $11.99 for this one. I can't remember which. Was it worth it to me? Yes, it was. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this experience. So yes, it was worth it to me.
That's what counts. That's what counts.
Yes.
Yeah, right, JB. Now History Channel only talks about aliens. All right.
Yeah.
But we built the city. Starship. Oh man. So, man, I really feel bad. Most heckler that I ever had. Dire Straits. Oh man.
Okay.
Jay, these comments today are terrific.
Yeah. I love them. I love them, man. I like this one. It's like this free flowing kind of thing. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Be a little silly.
Oh, and Jay, before you switch off of me,
all the people.
I don't know if you can see it. I picked up this Pearl beer opener at a garage sale for 50 cents the other day.
Pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You don't see Pearl anymore very often, any of their stuff.
No.
It's Emerald St. Louis premium quality Pearl beer.
Last time I bought Pearl beer in Louisiana was in 1997 in Reserve, Louisiana, at a local grocery store. And I was just in the store. I wasn't looking for Pearl by any stretch of the imagination. I was just in there and just looking around. Mm-hmm. And I saw this 6-pack of Pearl bottles on the shelf. And it was $3.99. I said, well, heck, I'm going to buy that. My grandfather said, Pearl, that's the worst stuff in the world. I'd rather drink horse urine. I said, oh, really? And it's got the medal. It won a gold medal. So I thought, come on. So I came home and got it iced down, got it cold. The next day I started drinking it. I said, this stuff is good. What are you talking about? I told him, I said, this Pearl beer is good. And it did win a gold medal. So, but I never saw it again. I went back about a month later, didn't have it, and I never saw it again in Louisiana. I barely ever saw it in Texas, to tell you the truth.
I don't think
savor these
how
beers,
long is
guys.
You would know. How long is it not? It's not made anymore.
Yeah, it is.
It's
never going out of production, but I mean, they just assume not. They may as well not make it.
I haven't seen it since the late 80s here in Kansas. I bet the late 80s, early 90s is the last time I seen Pearl.
Right. So if you're going to make 1 barrel a year, what's the point of making it?
Right.
I mean, and Jay, I mean, you showed us you were drinking that Stag the other day. I mean, someone has sent that to you. And
yeah, you sent me a 12-pack.
Right, and I get Lone Star here, but But when I was in Mobile, I couldn't find it. And I'm just saying, people, just savor these beers if you can get these landmark, legendary, old school type of beers, man. Savor them because I don't know what's going on right now. It's because it's.
You're right. I'll tell you the real reason they make it because they don't lose a trademark on it.
Yeah,
because if you don't use the trademark for 7 years, somebody else can take it over. So what happens is, I had a guy telling me years ago on YouTube, telling me I live in Southwest Texas near the Mexican border, like Eagle Pass and Del Rio, something like that. He said about once a year, they'll have a bunch of 12-packs of Falstaff on the shelf, and then you'll never see it again until the next year. And I said, yeah, I know what they're doing is Pabst is putting out a small batch of it, and then they can tell the U.S. Trademark Office, Patent Office, oh, we still make it. We sold it in 2 different little obscure towns in Texas last year, and then they can show that they used the trademark. But it's like a joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they're not really making it. I wouldn't be sure.
Can you bring me up one more time?
I am going to bring up everybody.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring up everybody one more time.
I think
what they're doing is they might put out Jack's beer somewhere. It's usually obscure places. I think they do that on purpose. They put it in some town where almost nobody is around, so that nobody does see it. Yeah. So right. So nobody sees it, but they got it on file. Oh yeah, we made it. All right. Anyway. As far as promos, yeah, I'm gonna bring up everybody one more time. As far as promos, I didn't do Stout Sunday. can't even think straight. I didn't even do Dawn Busters this morning because I was up late, you know, I was sleeping and everything. So, but the next taste challenge I'm gonna do is Finlagen versus not Finlagen, Kavanaugh versus Red Bush from Bushmills. I don't think it's going to be that great of a challenge. I think Red Bush is going to win. So that's going to get, but it's not going to be a great record. My record is going to be 5 wins and 4 losses out of 9. But
you don't win pennants like that, Jay. You can't win pennants winning 5 out of 9.
I know. I know.
But you can still make the playoffs in the NFL 5 and 4. So.
I didn't even have to help. I didn't even have to help at all.
I don't have to host Stout Sunday anymore. I think this will be the last time.
We love you, Jay. We love you.
He knows we love him. I'm gonna make. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna call a company and get some pinatas made of me, and y'all can hit them at a party. There won't be no candy inside. I think the problem is these Irish whiskeys are so similar one to another that you have a hell of a time telling them apart in a blind taste test. Now you might think you know. People will say, "Oh, I know my Paddies, I know my Jameson." Oh yeah, you really do, huh? You know it, huh? Well, do a blind taste test. Let's see how well you know these products that all taste like bread dough. Let's see how well you know them. Okay, moving on.
No, let's not move on. When you're dealing with Irish whiskeys, you're dealing with triple distilled, and you're dealing with two very different whiskeys here. You're dealing with the blended Irish, or you're dealing with the all malt Irish. If you can't tell the difference between the all malt and the blended, then there's a problem. But when you start comparing the blended to the blended, then it becomes it's a muddled mixture of stuff. I don't care for the blended Irish whiskey. I just want the all malt.
Yeah, and that's what I've been dealing with. I have not done ever in my life even tasted an all malt Irish whiskey. I've been doing all blended.
We'll get you some Napagoo Castle. That's a good all malt Irish whiskey. There's a few others out there, but that's a good place to start. And it's going to be a low price. It's probably going to be about $50 for the 12-year-old, but that's where you live, though. Who knows? I mean,
it might be 26. Yeah, and then we have the Sexton. We have the Sexton, which is all malt.
That's good, but that's a sherry finished. And once you get to the sherry finish with the Sexton, that's a good Irish whiskey. Even I gave that good scores when I did my review of it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, I've been doing blended Irish whiskeys only, and I'm telling you, if you think you're that big of an expert on blended Irish whiskey, let's put your money where your mouth is, and you do the blind taste test and tell me you could tell these all apart from each other and do better than 5 and 4. Who knows? Maybe you'll do 8 and 2, 10 and 0. But I want to see it. All right. To me, it's difficult. Starting this week, we got Finlagen. This is the 6-year aged. Okay. This is not the only one. There's about 7 different ones. But this is their Old Reserve, which is a nicer way of saying base model. It's interesting.
Now, where is that distilled at?
Well, we're not at liberty to discuss that.
Middleton.
But this is a single malt Scotch, and it's Isla.
Yeah.
And Ralphie said, "I don't know where this is distilled at." He said, "But I got some good ideas, you know." But he liked it actually. And his only complaint was that they were showing a castle, and he went to, so you know, he said, "I'm going to show you what the castle really looks like." So he went to the Finlagen site, and it's just ruins. And it was funny because it wasn't long after Ralphie did his video showing what it really looked like that they changed the labels showing the actual ruins, which is just a few piles of bricks.
Yeah.
So I said he must have influence because they used to show this big castle, you know, Finlagen Castle. And he was like, "Are you kidding me?" this castle is nothing but ruins. And so he went and did a video, his part B. He did part B, where he reviewed it again at the ruins, and he propped the bottle up on the ruin with the box. It was pretty funny. That was from 2010. And it wasn't long after that, this new label came out showing the actual ruins. But the main point is he did like it. Now, Wednesday, we've got beers for autumn. Any beer that beers for Oktoberfest. Any beer that you think would be good for Oktoberfest, bring it. If you think Bud Light's good for Oktoberfest, I don't encourage you to join.
Coors Light.
Yeah, don't join. But if you got some good Oktoberfest beers, we invite you to join. And then Friday we got Fandango Friday with liquors and liqueurs. And next Sunday, Stout Sunday, Johnny Neal probably be hosting again. And then that's it. So I got nothing else to say. We'll go to Michael, and he's got his discussion points to bring up. If I can get him to slide over here with this stinking. Oh, here we go. Let me see.
This is
StreamYard.
called StreamYard delay.
Yeah.
It gets stuck sometimes.
Okay.
Stuck.
Robert, when you showed your Pearl bottle and can opener, I went into my drawer to see what I had. And I have this old Pabst Blue Ribbon one, which obviously is much more common than the Pearl one. But I was interested to see at the bottom, it says not for resale. What do people do? Buy these and try to resell them? I mean, it seems strange that they would put that on the side.
A lot of those are given as freebies to bars and stuff. And then people go into bars and they see it sitting on the other side and they liberate it. Is a good way of saying it.
You know, they put it in their pocket and take it home.
Yeah.
I also have a little like baby one here, a small Pabst Blue Ribbon one that's like half the size as the first one.
Yeah.
But
this is a Falstaff.
Your Pearl one is something I've never seen, and I've seen the beer before, but I've never seen a bottle opener of it.
That's the first one I've seen. Now I find them and I buy them at garage sales or flea markets or whatever. If it's something I don't have, you know.
I've never seen Pearl beer here in New York at all, but in my travels, I've seen it. But I think it was in the era you're talking about in the 80s and 90s. I don't think I've seen it recently when I've been around. So I think it's similar. Like Jay said, they brew it just so they hold on to the ability to brew it where nobody else can take their name, and that's it. And to me, it seems kind of weird because hasn't it lost whatever influence it's had, if it had any? So what's the difference?
Right.
You know,
I don't know. My recall of Pearl beer was it was just your average lager. I didn't think it was any better or any worse than Budweiser or Coors
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Shaker was horrible.
And tomorrow night at my house, Giant Space Monkey will be making an appearance. And he doesn't come that often, so it will be special. And I have another friend, Eric, who's coming as well. And maybe Eric has a friend, Doug, who has come before. And we make these little statements because, you know, like everybody has to have their own Doug to bring to my beer tasting. So it's weird. We've had a total of 2 Dougs together, but we know of 2 other Dougs. So if we could ever have we could have 4 Dougs, that would be like right now the record is 2, but maybe at some point we could have 3 or 4, which would make it, you know, a lot of Doug action. But that'll be tomorrow, and I try to send that out to everybody after we finish with our ratings, which, as we've discussed before, are all only conceptual, since when you're doing different styles, imperial stouts and barrel-aged imperial stouts have a significant advantage over everything else.
And what time that'll be on? What time, Michael?
It's in my house tomorrow at 7:30. So it's not. We don't go on. We're not online.
Okay.
I usually send the results out to everybody on either their email address, or if I text them, I send it that way, so people can look at what we've accomplished. Or I send it on Messenger on Facebook as well, so people can look at what we've done. John, you're on Facebook. I could send it to you as well.
Cool. Oh, also, Michael, you're a Giants fan too, so you'll have the TV on tomorrow night, right?
Well, I may be doing this. I may have to tape it to watch it. But I think between you and me, this is our best chance to beat the Cowboys in a while, I think.
I think so too.
And it is in New Jersey.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think the Eagles are probably the class of our division.
Pretty
But we'll
much
see
right
what
now.
happens. We get to play them twice. And I like this new coach and the new general manager. And they seem to be going on this company line. We don't care how much money we're paying you. If you don't do well in practice, you're not going to get too many calls in the game. And
That's
we'll see
it.
if that continues and what happens.
Aggressive.
But,
Aggressive.
they are 2-0 for the first time in multiple years. And if they can beat the Cowboys, I think it's the first time they'll be 3-0 in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So it'll be a big deal. But I'm up for it.
So
I have three favorite teams: Denver Broncos,
okay.
Miami Dolphins, and whoever's beating the hell out of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're America's team, but they have as many haters as they have people who like them. So
Yes, I
love them or hate them.
never liked the Cowboys.
everybody in our
Never.
division, the now Commodores, which kills me, the old Redskins,
I know exactly.
Eagles,
Yeah.
and the Giants, they always hate the Cowboys. The Cowboys are like nobody likes them.
Nobody likes nobody in the division, basically.
So it's very intense and
Yeah, not the Commodores, the Commanders.
the Commanders.
You should have stuck with the
Which
football
I call them Manders. I call them the Manders.
team.
I'm glad
Bob
he's enjoying.
I still call them the Redskins. But any other comments, Michael?
No, I'm fine. I'm hoping to appear on Stout Sunday every week now that I'm off the Beach Club. So I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm glad Bart Robinson's enjoying his Schaefer. Either in the 80s, we got the shit Schaefers, whatever they couldn't sell wherever else, and sent them to Kansas. But that stuff was undrinkable. That and Black Label. We bought it because it was like $1.99 for a 6-pack because they absolutely could not sell it.
The Carling Black Label was sold here.
it's
Now
sold.
in Georgia, it's
Really?
gone.
Schaefer was really popular in Louisiana, and I used to like it, and everybody I talked to liked it. So I don't know what the story is with that, but could have been different breweries making it.
Could have been, but
I
that's
used to
the
get
80s
Schaefer,
too.
and
We're talking 84, 85, 86 time frame. I never bought it after 85. I learned my lesson by 85, and I never purchased another 6-pack after that.
Yeah, I was buying it. I was buying it from 96 to 99 when it was owned by Stroh's. So
Okay.
they were making it at Stroh's. They were making it at Stroh's Brewery, and everybody I talked to liked it, but I didn't have it in the 80s.
Yeah.
So anyway, now we got to go to Jean-Pierre to do any promos, and then Robert, the Whiskey Scout, for promos.
Okay. Fun times always doing this. Always fun. See, I uploaded the Zing Zang, the all bourbon, the made with supposed Kentucky bourbon whiskey. That
I've
cocktail.
seen that.
Yeah, so that's uploaded on the channel. And I still have a couple of more things. Again, I still have the Left Hand Milk Stout I have to review. And I still have the Samuel Smith India Ale. I will do some shopping today and get a few little things. I will have a Oktoberfest or a festive beer, but more so an Oktoberfest on Wednesday for fall beers on Wednesday night show, 7:30 Eastern, 3:30 4:30 Pacific, and Fandango Friday.
Wednesday is specifically beers for Oktoberfest. Okay, Fandango Friday, yeah.
Fandango Friday, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, liquor and liqueurs, and I will have a stout. So I'm trying to get most everything that I need today. I'm going to a couple of places, obviously do some grocery shopping, obviously, but also do beer shopping as well. So I'll be stacked up for this week, and whatever I post on my channel, y'all see, it'll be there on the channel. So always fun, guys. Enjoy this a lot.
Yes.
Excellent. So yeah, I hope everybody can join Fandango Friday. Jim Madonna's trying to get his deal worked out with that company that doubled him up. You know, he was aggravated because they were supposed to send him 5 different liqueurs and they sent him 4, and they doubled 2 of them up. Well, he was hot. They didn't ask either. They just did it.
And another one that finished kind of that trifecta, the 83, 84, 85 range was Wiedemann's. I don't know if you guys ever had Wiedemann's.
Heard of it.
That was from Kentucky, I think. I think that
Yeah.
was Cincinnati area, Kentucky too.
That was another one that was so cheap. That's what we bought because it was cheap. We were poor. We were seniors in high school. And that was back then you could buy the 3-2 beer as being 18 here in Kansas, which I was. And I can tell you, Wiedemann's, Schaefer, and Black Label, they were all, I think Black Label was Canadian, if I remember correct. They were all very, they were bad days the next day beer. That's just the best way to put it.
Yeah,
they weren't good going down, and they were even worse the next morning. But that's neither here nor there. As far as what's coming along with me, again, I'm just not in the feeling it to do reviews. I've got to find somewhere in me to start doing them again. I know I've kept telling you guys this over and over, but I'm enjoying my time I spend with you guys. I really have to admit that. But and I've got plenty of, I haven't stopped buying, tasting, enjoying whiskey or even tequilas. But to make videos on it is just not.
Yeah. Oh, well.
It's not that I can't do it. It's just that I just don't feel the pull to do it yet. It'll come back, and I may do one just to do one because I need to at least stay somewhat active somehow. And I enjoy doing them when I'm doing them, but I don't know. Enough excuses. I'm washing around on that. But I did get a good whiskey the other day. And I showed it, I think it was on Wednesday when we did the MGD stuff. It was a good one. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to trying it.
You know, I always supported your Whiskey Scout channel, always making comments and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The channel's not dead. It's just taking a slight hiatus. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. All right.
Jay, before we get off, I have one more comment to make to you. I finally saw your John and Nilly Beer Buddies #3 session. I don't know. When was that made? Was that made when he was still in Georgia?
I think it was made right before he left Georgia, but I'm not sure.
Okay, because I didn't even know it existed. I didn't even know it existed because I knew #1 was Bumpy, #2 was me. I didn't even know he made that. And I was on YouTube, and it said #3, Jay Terry. So I went on it and I watched the whole thing. I thought it was really well done. It was interesting.
Yeah, he wanted to make more, but he kind of got sidetracked, so he hasn't done any more.
As far as I know, he's only done 3. So he hasn't done any since he's been in Massachusetts.
Yeah, his intention is to eventually get back to it, but it's kind of like time flies.
Well, I'm sure he's going to do Robert and Jean as well as a bunch of other friends that he has. So he has a lot of beer friends that he can do. So I'm sure he'll arrange that as time goes on.
Yeah, the intention is to do it. Things get
I don't
have
a channel, but I enjoy watching everybody's stuff that's online. So I'll keep watching for sure.
Appreciate
it. I'm back.
Appreciate it.
Trying to update the comments. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. But now I'm going to go get ready for the National Socialist Football League and watch that.
There are some good games today. Miami is playing Buffalo. That should be an interesting game.
Yeah, that's the one I'm getting in my area. So I'm gonna try to make it home for that. And of course Brady and Rodgers if they play again. So I'm not getting that game in my area. I got the Lonely Falcons and the Seahawks. So I'll stream. Yeah, but I'll stream something. I'll stream it somehow, some way.
And Robert, college football goes in ebbs and flows. So don't get down on the fact that your team had a bad day. It'll come back.
We've been beat 3 out of the last 4 years by K-State. So this is not an unusual thing. We've been beat twice at home in the last 4 years.
Okay.
I'm not losing too much sleep over it. I'm just disappointed in what I watched on the It's not that K-State beat us. It's the lack of defense we had. I mean, hell, I think my fat old ass could have gained 100 yards on Oklahoma yesterday. I think no problem. With them big boys they have blocking at K-State, that's 7 yards a carry. That's what, 14 carries? I got 100 yards.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Texas Tech.
How did Tulane go to Manhattan, Kansas, and dominate Kansas State last week? I mean, it doesn't make, or the week before, just last Saturday, it doesn't make any sense.
The
whole thing is
did
crazy.
Tulane win yesterday? I didn't follow.
No, they got beat up by Southern Mississippi.
Okay, well, that means that we all suck. I'm just going to be really honest.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Tulane, and K-State all suck.
All bad.
Yeah.
And if any of those teams played Alabama, it would be a game you would not want to watch.
It would be 100
Yeah,
to
roll tide. That's
exactly.
Georgia has a good team too.
Georgia looks a
Georgia
lot
looks
better.
Really good too. Those
Georgia
are both
looks a lot better than last year.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Don't go move into Georgia, and now you are rah Georgia. You should be carrying.
No. I see what I see, and Georgia looks a lot better than last year. Believe me. Anytime Bama played was on, I'd be like, But when they play Auburn, I was rooting for Auburn, in that Iron Bowl. But right now, that Oklahoma, that Georgia team right now, like, woo.
I was
John, you can be a Georgia fan. You're on Georgia land. You can root for them anytime you want. Jay's just being tough on you.
I have been an OU fan.
Love my Giants. I got to stick to the NFL.
Early
Love my
70s.
Giants through and through.
And
yeah,
I have been through the 90s. In the 90s, OU, under Gary and under Schnellenberger and then under Blake, all those teams were pretty awful. So I've been through the awful side of Oklahoma between Barry Switzer and Stoops taking over. But I can tell you, yesterday was probably the hardest game I ever watched because the expectations were so much higher and the delivery was so much lower.
I know, that was unreal. That was unreal. And then, hey, I felt bad for Tulane because, look, Tulane was undefeated and they could have been 4-0. And I was thinking, could this be another 1998? And then after about 20 minutes, I was like, no, it's going to be the same old torment.
If Texas had did what they needed to do to Texas Tech yesterday, and Oklahoma did what they needed to do, that game coming up in the first week or second week of October, right? The Red River would have been that was a huge thing. How many times did you go to that game, Robert?
How many times I go to what game? Texas, Oklahoma?
Yeah, right.
I've never been able to. It's hard. Most of my attendance to Oklahoma games has been going up here to Manhattan or Lawrence. I've watched them in Manhattan 4 times and in Lawrence once. And when they play K-State or KU and Lawrence, it's never a pretty sight. It's always we dominate and kill them and roll on. But K-State does provide us with something.
This year they said.
Yeah. Bill Snyder, man. People don't give him enough credit. Man. What Bill Snyder did for that program when he made that program. Wow.
Right. I think this year they said after this weekend it's going to be called the Red River Flameout.
Yeah. Both teams showing up at Red River Rivalry is going to be a little disappointing this year. It's who's the best of the mediocre. And I hate to say that about my team. I'll be an OU fan till I die, but I just can't help it. I'm like,
and welcome. Y'all
get ready. Y'all get ready.
Oh yeah.
Y'all get ready to get your Gator Bowl tickets. Go get your Gator Bowl tickets.
Yeah.
Hotel
You're so right, John. We're going to the SEC next year, so we have no way to defend this loss to K-State no more. Yeah. We go out of the Big 12 with 3 out of the last 4 years losing to K-State, which is, I mean, at best, K-State will go 8-5. They've never had a double-digit win season since 2012. They're not going to do anything.
Right.
The
Oh,
fact
well.
is,
All right,
we're
y'all
not
get
either.
off the air. Right. Well, y'all take care now, and thanks for
Everybody
joining.
have a good week.
Yeah, see you guys later. I enjoyed
Take
it.
care. I'll see everybody next Sunday.
Yes,
All right.
sir.